Good morning. I will call the Committee on Ways and Means to order. Committee Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Assemblywoman Anderson. Assemblywoman Backus. Assemblywoman Brown May. Assemblywoman Dickman. Assemblywoman Gorlow. Assemblyman Hafen. Assemblywoman Howdicke. Assemblywoman Kasama. Assemblyman Miller. Assemblyman O'Neill. Assemblywoman Peters. Assemblyman Watts. Assemblyman Yeager. Chairman Monroe Moreno.
And I am here. All of our members are present. Members, we are here today for a work session. As you recall, we heard two bills on Friday, and we will be work sessioning both of those bills today. We will start with AB 152, and I will pass it over to our fiscal analysis to go through the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Assembly Bill 152 was heard on February 17th, 2023. It makes appropriations to restore the balance in the reserve for the statutory contingency account in the amount of $42,139,109, and that's made up of $9,489,109 to restore the balance of the account, $30 million to fund settlement with the Department of Corrections, and $2,650,000 to fund a settlement with the Nevada Wellness Center. Those who presented on the bill were Director Stevenson from the Governor's Finance Office, and there was no individuals who testified in support, opposition, or neutral. There are no amendments recommended.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Second?
We have it's been motion and second to do pass. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously, and I will assign the floor statement to myself on this measure. And that will close the work session on AB 152, and we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, and it will be a work session on Senate Bill 124. And again, we'll pass it over to our committee fiscal analyst.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 124 was heard on February 17, 2023. The Senate bill, as amended from the Senate, revises and clarifies existing provisions pertaining to the money received by county school districts from the tax upon net proceeds of minerals and royalties of mineral mining operations, and the requirement to transfer such money to the state education fund. The bill also advances to January 30th, 2022, from June 30th, excuse me, let me try that again. This bill also advances to June 30th, 2022, from June 30th, 2023, the expiration of the requirements that entities make advanced payments for the portion of the tax upon net proceeds of minerals and royalties of mining operations owned to the State General Fund based on estimates for that current calendar year. I would note that Michael Nakamono from the Fiscal Analysis Division presented on this bill, as well as Brian Fernley, who is our legal counsel, and Asher Killian. There was one individual who testified in support of this bill, Chris Daly, and also one other individual who testified in neutral. That was Nikki Bailey Lundy. There is an amendment that is proposed for this bill, and you all should have at your desk a mock-up of it. It is 3521. This amendment was requested by the chair, and it changes in sections 2.3 verbiage related to budgeted for the purposes of calculating the ending fund balance to actual. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Members, any questions? We'll start with Assemblyman Hafen and then Assemblyman O'Neill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have two questions. I'll start with one and you can move on. I just want to know what the fiscal impact is going to be in the amendment switching from budgeted to actual.
Madam, thank you, through you, to Assemblyman Hafen. We don't actually know the actual fiscal impact to it. We have not calculated it. It was brought to our attention by the Department of Education that when the budget, or when the bill was first submitted into the Senate, that there was a provision in there that identified actual, and it conflicted with then the calculation in Section 2.3, which was then budgeted. And so in order to make sure that those were meeting the provisions that were required for the actual, those particular change, that word was changed to make sure that it conformed with the bill.
And then my second question was in regards to my colleague's question to the north, in regards to how much, sorry, what were the additional funds that the counties, I think there was 4 counties, were holding them for? Did we ever get a response from those individual school districts yet?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Sarah Kaufman. I believe you're referring to net proceeds of minerals that were potentially being clawed back. Is that what you're referring to?
Correct, over the 16.6 after
Okay.
2020.
And that is a different net proceeds of minerals issue, unrelated to this. However, there was one particular county that was outstanding in its payment to the school district, and that was Eureka County. And I can't recall the actual amount that they have outstanding, but I can follow up with you on that.
Clarification, sorry, that I wasn't referring to the Eureka. I was referring to the Esmeralda, Lander, White Pine, and Story counties. They appeared to be the ones that were going to be affected by the 16.6 change in this bill. And the question was asked, why do they have those funds? What are they intending to use those funds for, if anything? And I'm just curious if we ever got an answer from the school districts on that.
No, we have not received a response from the school district on that.
Assemblyman O'Neill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to clarify, I want to make sure I understand, what's the impact if the bill passes to the general fund this year and the following fiscal year?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Sarah Kaufman, Legislative Council Bureau. So with this change, what will happen is that right now, the way that the net proceeds of minerals will work is that it would essentially change the prepayment to 2024. So in other words, right now, there would be a hole, so to speak, in the state education fund, because right now they're going to be prepaying fiscal year 2024 in March of 2023 for 2024. So the general fund would actually receive that funding this time around. However, with this change, there would be ultimately a reduction to general fund of $70.3 million in 2023 to the general fund. However, that payment would then be made in 2024 to the state education fund. So as it stands right now, state education fund would not be receiving $70.3 million in 2024. With this particular piece of legislation, the general fund would be incurring the impact, and there would be a $70.3 million reduction to what was forecasted by the Economic Forum in terms of the net proceeds of minerals.
Assemblywoman Hodde?
Thank you, Chair, and Ms. Kaufman. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm hearing it correctly, and I know we covered this last Friday as well, too, but I just want to be clear. If we do not do this, then there will be a hole in the education budget in 2024 of $73 million. Is that correct?
Madam Chair, through you, to Assemblywoman Howdy, yes, that is correct. So the general fund would maintain the $70.3 million in 2023, and the prepayment would then take place in 2023, which means that the 2024 payment for the state education fund would not occur in 2024. And so ultimately, there would be a reduction in funds that would be for the state education fund.
Thank you for the question and for the clarification. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, then I will entertain a motion to amend and do pass as amended.
So moved. Second?
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We have one in opposition, that would be Assemblyman Hafen. And the motion does pass. And again, I will assign the floor statement to myself on this measure. Members, that brings us to the last item on our agenda. We're up to public comment. Is there anyone here in the audience in Carson City that would like to make public comment? Seeing none, anyone in Las Vegas? Seeing none. BPS, do we have anyone joining us by telephone that would like to make public comment?
Chair, the public line is open and working, but there are no callers wishing to provide public comment at this time.
Thank you so much. And members, thank you for your patience today for one long meeting, one super quick meeting. I quickly take a break and we'll be getting on the floor, and we might even almost be on time. So with that, this meeting is adjourned.